start to discuss what is the Lean and Six Sigma and what is the difference in between and why we usually use Lean Six Sigma together. Six Sigma, as we have said in the Focus Pedica, the voice of the customer is the customer who is the one who describe what is quality. He is the one who receives the product or the service, and he is a judge about what is the quality of the service or the product he receives. And usually the voice of customer put the quality in a form of a specification limit. What is the limits that I can accept the product or service? I can wait in a waiting area, waiting to enter the clinic within 15 up to 30 minutes. If it exceeds 30 minutes, I will not accept, I will be dissatisfied. So any customer will put specification limit to any activity or any service or product as outcome of any process. And the goals of any process has to be aligned within the specification limit given by the customer. So you have to listen and putting the voice of the customer as a specification and limits to any process activity. Usually, any activity is not usually done at a specific limit. There must be some variation as a result of any activity. This variation could be within limit, within control, that the waiting time could be in between 10 minutes and 40 minutes due to variation, even though the patient will accept it in between 15 and 30. So I have to squeeze the variation between 10 and 40 minutes to be within the 15 and 30 minutes that accepted by the customer or the patient. And sometimes there is some occasion that happen, special causes, uncontrolled variation. One time, the waiting time in the clinic may be for 1 or 1.5 hours. This may be due to uncontrolled variation that the physician at that clinic is in OR, and there is some complication in OR that leading to a longer time for the surgery, that leading that he come back to his clinic after a little bit late. So the waiting time at this certain date will be causing uncontrolled variation. Even though in our outpatient clinic, we regularly examine, say, 2,000 patients a month. Every 2,000, 2,500 patient examined in outpatient in a certain clinic on monthly basis, except at Ramadan time or Hajj time. It is decreased to maybe in between 1,000, 1,500, because during these 2 seasons, those patients didn't want to come to be examined or to enter the patient to do surgery, to be admitted as inpatient for surgery. So the higher administration will accept this controlled variation, seasonal variation at certain time, like school exam time. Usually there is a little bit drop in the patient flow during exam time. Lean versus Six Sigma. Lean usually focus on removing the waste from the process. The waste, there is some usually waste, like waste of time, waste of redo, waste of overproduction, waste in inventory. What is known in Japanese moda. Waste is the moda in Japanese language. And we will find out too much Japanese wordings that we are going to discuss while we are discussing Lean and Six Sigma, because it is first applied in Japan. So Lean usually focus in removing the waste from the process, while Six Sigma usually focus on understanding, on reducing the variation and errors in process, to eliminate the errors and reduce the variation. So Lean is focused on the waste, while on the other hand, the Six Sigma focus on the errors, removing the errors by reducing the variation. Let us think or discuss it in another way. The Lean focus on dramatically improving the flow in the value stream or eliminating the waste. Here you will find out a football player. He is very clever. He is very efficient in playing with his football. But the problem that the efficiency and the speed is not alone will be helpful in achieving the goal. In some football match, our national team is playing very efficient and very speed, but by the last, the result of the football game is not a winning game. We lost the game, even though we played efficiently and at high speed. Six Sigma, it will focus on eliminating the defect and reducing the variation in between the way of playing different players. So it will improve the effectiveness and focus on the result of the game. If we can combine the Lean and the Six Sigma together, that it will be eliminate all the waste of the activity or the process and focus on removing the errors and reducing the variation, we can work efficiently and effectively to reach the other goal of our opponents and to achieve our work. That is why we usually combine the Lean and Six Sigma together, because Lean Six Sigma, the Lean will reduce the waste by streamlining the process of attacking the other team, and the Six Sigma reduces the defects by effectively solving all the problems in our team. That is, Lean accelerates the Six Sigma, so solving problems and improving the process in a faster and more efficient way. That is why we usually apply a Lean Six Sigma together to solve our problems and eliminating all waste. Usually any process depends on input, process, and output. Input is the resources. If we are using less resources and most economic way, we are efficient. Efficiency is using less resources and most economic way. The process itself, the efficacy of the process is under the control. The hospital usually needs to work through a controlled process to achieve the goal of the hospital. and to have an effective outcome by doing all these processes. This is the efficiency, efficacy, and efficiency. Efficiency with the letter N means money. Efficacy is the controlled process in our hospital, and effective is the result outcome of all our process in the organization. Again, what is lean? We have said the goal of the lean is to eliminate waste. In one word, lean means eliminate waste. Because there is a wording usually said that we spend 75 to 90% of our time of doing something that will cost us but will not add value to the customer. The customer focus on the value that he will receive in the product or the service. If we lose some time through doing something that will not add value, it does mean that it is a waste. By measuring, they found that 75 to 95% of our time we are doing something that will not add value to the customer. And in healthcare system, we usually think about the time and waste of the patient in receiving his services in our hospital with a value added time. And by eliminating those, the non-value added time, non-value added motion and steps. Sometimes we ask the patient to wait more, to move in our hospital more. If we have a lean thinking, we can minimize this moving forward and backward in between different areas, and to make his journey in our hospital with less steps to reach our goal of his best service with more satisfaction. The lean thinking approach that we have to focus on to meet the customer focus, to eliminate waste, to reduce the time of services, to be efficient in our services by improving quality and less resources, using less to doing more or to do more. How we can do this through lean thinking approach? We will focus on three Japanese words known as Moda, Mora, and Mori. These are the three waste. Moda is the waste, Mora is unevenness in English, and Mori is overburden. What is the Moda? Moda is the waste. It is any activity that consumes resources and will not add value to the customer service or the product to the customer. So it is the no value. Moda is the waste. It's the no value in the service or the product to the customer. Mora is the unevenness. It does mean that it is chaotic or unpredicted work process which is expensive. The patient stated that when I came to the clinic, I usually sometimes find that they serve me or I wait for 15 or 30 minutes and sometimes 40 minutes, sometimes 50 minutes. So there is unevenness in between the service. Whenever I go, I have a waiting time. I cannot plan my time when I'm going to be examined in that clinic. This is the Mora, unevenness in the process. What about Mori? Mori is the overburden. You cannot ask your staff to do the work under pressure. or under overburden. Would you please? Mori has been created every time when you put your team under stress by demanding them to do something that out of their capability or resources. So when you are thinking in a lean way, on a smart way, you have to focus on the moda, the waste, the mora, the unevenness, and the mori, the overburden of the work you ask the staff to do. The lean thinking process passes through 5 steps. First, you have to specify what is the value for your customer, to listen to the voice of the customer and to study, determine the perspective and express the value in terms of a specific control. Those outpatients need to have a waiting time within 15 to 30 minutes. These patients who came to surgery want to be operated upon within 5 to 6 hours maximum from their arrival, because they came fasting and we asked them to fast. So didn't ask the patient to fast from one night, midnight before the operation, and then start the operation on the 3 o'clock p.m. next day, and ask them to come at 7 o'clock to be waited as an inpatient fasting from midnight to 6 o'clock morning time, and from 6 o'clock to 3 o'clock p.m. because you did not arrange the process of operation room properly. So specify the value of the customer perspective, express it and express it into specification limit. Then map a value stream. Map all the steps needed in the process for that service that you are going to give. Those steps who add value and non add value, all the steps as it is, put it in a value stream mapping. So you can put down the flow from the start to the end of the service, end to end. What is the steps, whatever it is, value stream, value added or non-value added, and what is the interaction between processes and who is the one who is responsible about every step. So establish the flow of the value stream. And then think about implementation of a pull system, not push system. What does it mean? That nothing to be done except after it is needed. Don't push the patient from the inpatient ward to the X-ray department. The head nurse came morning time, review the files of the patient. It finds that today we have 2 patients to be sent to make an X-ray. So ask 2 nurses to bring 2 wheelchairs, took these 2 patients to the X-ray department because there is request for X-ray chest and sonar abdomen for the second patient. They take 2 wheelchairs and 2 nurses, push them to the X-ray department in X-ray diagnostic and sonar divisions of the X-ray diagnostic department from the start in the morning. So they will push, they will clean their hands that those requested for diagnostic action have been sent to the diagnostic department. But this will reflect in collection of patient at the X-ray, the diagnostic department. and the 2 wheelchairs will be used starting from 7 o'clock in the morning till the end of the X-ray to be done, with the frozen 2 nurses activity for all this time. So push strategy is not well work the process. Pull strategy, when the X-ray give you a phone call that would you please send the patient requested within 15 minutes, it will be his turn. At that time only, by pulling strategy, send the patient with a nurse to push him through the wheelchair to the diagnostic department. So implement pull strategy, not the push strategy. Work to perfection the complete elimination of waste, so all activities will create value for the customer. Put in your mind the waste time, the waste resources, the waste inventory, the waste of everything, the 8 types of waste that we are going to discuss in our meeting today. Put it in mind to eliminate it through the process. This is the lean thinking process way, how to think, and this is what are your customers willing to pay for. A process which is streamlined and effective by applying lean solutions. And we will discuss how you can do some activities that will overcome the problems and serve as a lean thinking.